Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're digging into the reactions from FC Bayern's latest Champions League game, that big 5-1 win away at Pafos FC.
Yeah, and on the surface it looks straightforward, doesn't it? 9 competitive games, 9 wins, just rolling.
Absolutely perfect momentum, you'd think. But, like we always say, the scoreline, well, it really tells the whole story.
Exactly. So today, we're looking past those 5 goals. We want to understand what the key people inside the club, the coach, the players, what they're really saying about where things stand.
And what immediately jumps out, I think, is this really interesting mismatch. You've got this huge 5-1 win, sounds dominant. Harry Kane got 2 goals, called it a really good win, which, okay, fine.
Pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, but then you have the coach, Vincent Kompany, saying they had to fight hard, especially in the second half, despite the score.
Right, and that's where our deep dive really kicks off. Why is a coach talking about a hard fight after smashing a team 5-1 away from home? It really speaks volumes about the standard Kompany setting, doesn't it? He'd actually predicted Pafos wouldn't be easy opponents beforehand.
Oh, had he? Okay.
Yeah, and afterwards he doubled down, saying the game wasn't as easy as it looks. He specifically mentioned needing to stabilize things after halftime.
Okay, so hang on. Is that just, the usual coach humility, keeping everyone grounded? Or did something actually wobble there in the second half?
Well, Kompany's phrasing suggests it was genuine. He talked about having to fight hard to stabilize the game right after the break.
Huh. So they were cruising, maybe took their foot off the gas a little.
Seems like it. And Kompany spotted that dip, that lull, and flagged it immediately. It shows they're not just chasing wins. They're chasing this relentless 90-minute performance level.
And the players seem to be singing from the same hymn sheet. Joshua Kimmich, he knows Bayern standards better than anyone.
Yeah.
He came out and admitted they weren't as forceful in the second half. It was like immediate public agreement with the coach's point.
It is, but it's maybe even more than just agreement. Kimmich also showed real respect for Pafos, called them awkward.
Right.
And he actually predicted they'll pick up the odd point at home against other teams in the group.
So what he's saying is, don't let the 5-1 fool you. Pafos put up a fight, and this result, especially away, required real effort from Bayern.
Precisely. It validates Kompany's whole "it wasn't easy" line. It wasn't just talent winning the day. It was effort overcoming resistance.
And that's such a key insight for you listening, isn't it? If you want to understand what separates the really elite teams, it's how they dissect the wins, not just the losses.
Absolutely. They're looking for those moments where they weren't quite optimal, even when they're comfortably ahead.
So the takeaway isn't just Bayern won again, it's how they're processing that win internally.
Yeah, and how they're using maybe that slight dip in the second half to think about tactical solutions, which brings us neatly onto Harry Kane.
Yes, Kane. 2 goals. Clearly feeling good, knows he's getting chances in this team.
He does, but what's really interesting is what he said about his role in the game, not just his goals.
Okay. Tell me more.
Well, he mentioned specifically that sometimes during the match he dropped back a bit, more like a 10.
A 10. Harry Kane, your main goal scorer dropping that deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Highly unusual for a number 9 of his profile.
Yeah.
Especially when he's always chasing goal records.
So what's the thinking there? Is that a Kompany instruction or Kane taking initiative? And doesn't that risk taking him out of scoring positions?
It seems very intentional, a calculated move. Kane himself explained why he did it.
Okay.
He said it was specifically to help bring Nicholas Jackson into the game more, allowing Jackson to receive the balls higher up the pitch.
Jackson. Right.
And Kane's reasoning. He said it's crucial to keep surprising defenders and not do the same thing all match. It's about tactical unpredictability.
Wow. So the star striker is actively changing his position to integrate a teammate and mess with the opposition's defense. That's quite something.
It really is. And Kane was full of praise for Jackson afterwards. Called his performance fantastic today. A goal, an assist, and almost another goal.
That's great team spirit, isn't it? The main man making space, both literally and figuratively, for someone else.
And you really understand why, when you hear from Jackson himself, this wasn't just another run-out for him.
No.
He calls scoring his first goal a new start. You have to remember, he hadn't played competitively for almost 2 months. He'd been training alone.
Right. That's tough context. Puts his performance in a new light.
Definitely. He talked about his return being a process, about learning and improving day by day. He also mentioned feeling very at home in Munich which is positive.
So you can see why Kane and maybe others would make that extra effort to get him involved to build his confidence back up.
Exactly. And it all connects back to company's overall philosophy on squad management. He's been very open about it.
What's he said specifically?
His quote was pretty direct. "We trust all the players we have, which is why we use them all. We'll carry on doing that."
Okay, that's a clear statement of intent. Rotation isn't just a nice to have, it's fundamental to how he operates.
Yep. He's managing for the long haul, keeping players fresh, integrating guys like Jackson, trusting the system even when making changes.
It's bold, though, isn't it? 9 wins in, many coaches would just stick with the same 11 religiously. Companies actively shuffling, asking stars like Kane to adapt their roles.
It shows huge confidence in the tactical setup and the player's ability to execute different plans. But it also raises a bigger strategic question, doesn't it?
It is.
Why this intense focus on rotation, freshness, managing minutes so meticulously, even this early in the Champions League group stage? What's the long game here?
Good point. And I think we find the answer when we look again at Joshua Kimmich's comments, but this time focusing on the bigger picture.
Right, he wasn't just talking about the Pafos game.
No, he mentioned being top of the table, at least for the moment, but then he immediately laid out the real strategic goal for this phase.
Let me guess. Avoiding the playoffs.
You got it, he said very clearly. We want to avoid the playoffs, unlike last season.
And that, for anyone maybe not totally familiar with the current Champions League format, is a huge deal.
Explain why it's so crucial for a team like Bayern.
Well, finishing top of your group in this new league phase means you skip that extra playoff round entirely. You go straight to the round of 16.
Whereas finishing outside the top spots forces you into those extra games.
Exactly. Extra games, extra fatigue, extra risk of injuries, right in that congested post-winter break period. Kimmich actually mentioned PSG winning it via the playoffs last year, so it could be done.
But it's definitely the harder route.
Oh, much harder. As Kimmich put it, avoiding them is certainly better, because otherwise you might meet a top team straight away.
So you risk drawing another giant killer early on, burning energy you need for later rounds, and potentially for the domestic league too.
Precisely. It's all about risk mitigation and managing the season's load. They want the clearest possible path in the knockouts.
So companies focus on intensity, Kimmich admitting they weren't forceful enough, Kane dropping deep. It's all connected to maximizing their points and goal difference now to secure that top seeding later.
Every detail matters in achieving that strategic objective. It puts the whole fight hard comment after a 5-1 win into perfect context. It's not just about this one game, it's about the entire campaign structure.
Okay, but to get the full picture, we need the view from the other side too. What did the Pafos coach, Juan Carlos Carcedo, make of it all?
Well, he was very gracious, as you'd expect, thanked the fans, acknowledged Bayern as one of the best teams in Europe, standard respect.
But did he say anything that sheds light on the actual match dynamic?
He did, and crucially, it backs up what Company and Kimmich were saying.
How so?
Carcedo specifically pointed out that his team was better at the start of the second half, and that they managed to put Bayern under some pressure.
So he confirms that period where Bayern felt they had to stabilize?
Exactly. The opposition coach saw it too. It validates the entire internal Bayern assessment. That pressure was real, the difficulty was real, and the 5-1 wasn't just gifted to them.
It really ties it all together, doesn't it? The score looks dominant, but the reality, confirmed by both sides, was more complex.
Absolutely. So the deep dive confirms the momentum is real. 9 wins is impressive, no question. But it's momentum built on relentless effort, tactical flexibility like Kane playing the 10, and that clear strategic aim Kimmich highlighted. Avoid those playoffs at all costs.
So, for you listening, the picture emerging isn't one of a team cruising on talent alone. It's a team working incredibly hard, constantly self-assessing, and strategically managing its resources, even during a winning streak.
Which leads us to maybe a final thought for you to mull over. We see Company demands this constant high intensity, this pressing running effort, and he combines it with rotation, asking players to adapt, sometimes sacrifice.
It seems to be working so far.
It does.
Yeah.
But the big question is sustainability, isn't it? Is this level of constant self-critique, intense physical demand, and rotational juggling the key to maintaining momentum over a whole season? Or does it risk burning out key players, mentally or physically?
The risk of friction, perhaps. Asking stars to constantly adapt.
Right. Can they keep this specific, demanding energy going all the way through to spring, ensuring they do avoid those tricky playoffs and are fresh for the real business end of the season? That's the fascinating test ahead.
A massive test of company's philosophy and the squad's buy-in. We'll definitely be watching how that balance between intensity and freshness plays out. Until the next deep dive, keep learning.